Every year, thousands of students enter dentistry in India. With the same basic idea, finish the degree, become a dentist and start practicing. But here is the thing. The difficult part is that a degree and the practice are completely different thing. Okay, so look, the National Dental Council currently lists about 330 dental colleges in India with around 28,000 permitted BDS seats and about currently 4 lakh dentists registered officially on the National Dental Council of India portal. Now, another thing to take our eye on is that India has a large population with a larger need of dental care, but dentists are not even when you will look at the data, you will see that how big of a problem it is that a dentist currently in India are not spread evenly across India, which is causing a very big problem. And that is where the story begins. Okay, so everyone thinks that India has a lot of dentists. So the market must be crowded everywhere. But you are not ready for this. A 2025 analysis of dental access in India using older census linked workforce data reported a much higher concentration of dentists in urban areas. Look, it cited roughly one dentist for every 4,000 people in urban areas, okay? Versus about one in every 30,000 people in a rural area. And noted that only about one quarter of dentists were operating in rural areas. You see where I'm pointing towards. Every dentist that graduate wants to do practice in a urban area where they think that the scope of earning is way better than compared to rural areas. But you see the proportion right here. Another thing, government guidance on oral health gives the other side of the picture. It says around 60 to 65% of the Indian population lives in rural areas where access to oral healthcare is limited. It also reports that roughly 40 to 45% of the population has dental caries and that more than 90% have periodontal diseases. You see where I'm pointing to. So, India has two problems at the same time. First, some urban markets have a large number of dentists competing for the same patient. And many rural areas still have far less access to dental care. The problem is not simply the number of dentists. It is where they are, what patient can afford, and whether the available care is actually reaching them or not. Now, let's talk about the part that actually gets very less attention. Look, there are several ways a dentist can open a clinic. Okay, a family may already have a practice. A dentist may use personal or family savings, or he could borrow money from a bank so he can build his clinic. Okay, these are practical category, not an official classification. And if you look at the current scenario, you will see that approx everyone will fall in this category only. Okay, so here look, the loan case is the easiest one to understand because the repayment clock start even when the patient count is still zero. And everyone after graduating wants to open their own clinic, and the urge and the excitement to open and work in your own clinic is far more greater than the uh, than your maturity to understand the burden of the loan. So you take the loan and you build your clinic, and then let's see what happens next. Okay, so the cost of a clinic varies a lot. Industry estimate put basic single chair equipment in the range of roughly 5 to 12 lakh, while a more fully furnished setup can reach up to 10 to 15 lakh or more, depending on what it includes. Basically, if you are opening a clinic in rural areas, it might cost you a little less compared to when you are opening in an urban area. In urban areas, you must need to at least spend around 25 to 50 lakhs to build a single chair setup for your patient. So that is not the worst part, it's coming. A peer-reviewed Indian study in Indore using costs collected from supplier and dentist estimated total startup cost of about 22.3 lakh and annual operating expense about 10 lakh. This study is not updated yet. It's actually way older. Currently, I was not able to find any studies which actually predicts what the annual running cost of a dental clinic will be and what additional expense they do. So I used this study and it was done way back. So just imagine how much more the increase in cost would be right now. And okay, so a new 2026 cost study at a government primary health center in Kerala found an establishment cost of about 16.8 lakh and a net monthly operating cost of about 88,000. That was public primary care dental unit, not a private clinic. So we don't have a study for private clinic, but we can just say that a simple government clinic in a rural area of Kerala requires around 16.8 lakh and a net monthly of about 88,000 rupees just to operate. Okay, and it is a reference point. So we are going to look at this example and build a simple example ourselves. Okay, suppose a new dentist put together a 40 lakh plan. Okay, 10 lakh for equipment, 12 lakh for interior and clinic work, 3 lakh for furniture, computer, branding, basic setup and other essential costs, 3 lakh deposit and early occupancy cost. Okay, if you are going to hire anyone or just maid and cleaning services, you will 12 lakh kept aside as a working capital and a safety cushion. Okay, that adds up to around 40 lakh. Okay, this case study is just an example. This is not a national study. Okay, but this study I have researched well enough to know that this is the average like on the minimum side, the average any person will be spending on the dental clinic. Okay, so look, now imagine 25 lakh of that money is borrowed at an illustrative 12% annual interest rate for 7 years. Okay, so we are going to assume that 25 lakh is borrowed from that 40 lakh and at a 12% interest rate. Now the EMI will be about 44,000 per month. Over a 7 year, the repayment is about 37 lakh, which will include 12 lakh of interests. Okay, that itself is so fascinating. Look at the numbers. And if the entire 40 lakh were borrowed on those same assumptions, the EMI would be around 70,600 rupees per month with a total interest of roughly 19 lakh. That is the trap. The clinic does not have to be a bad clinic for the finance to become stressful. Okay, their chair can be excellent, the dentist can be skilled, the interior can look perfect. The bank still wants its payment every month. Rent still has to be paid. Staff still has to be paid. Material still have to be bought, and the dentist still have to live his life. Okay, if you are a dentist and you are operating a clinic and you took the loan, rather than just repaying your loan, you have a life yourself. Okay, you are going to live your life, right? You are not just going to work 24 hours a day and not do anything. Okay, so now here's the thing. When you are a newly graduated dentist, you took a loan, you build a clinic, and you think that there is going to be patient flow the next day the clinic is finished. But what you notice in real world is that there are no proper patient flow until 1 to 2 year, so you are just sitting there and the EMI is keep accumulating over time, you see. So what does that pressure do to you? Let's calculate it. I'm not saying that debt automatically cause poor mental health or it can do it, but this is just an average study and it have, like, if you look at anyone or if you look at the average, if we take the average data of a population, we can see that the debt can cause one of the most financial stress a person can have in their life. Okay, dental work carry already its own stress. Yeah, you have patient to manage, you have staff to manage, you have other stuff to manage, so it already is stressful. And above that you have the financial pressure. Okay, so imagine a young dentist who have taken a 25 or 40 lakh loan to build a clinic. The EMI will start immediately, the rent start immediately, the staff, the electricity bill. But here is the problem. Everything has to be paid, but the patient do not come just because the clinic is ready. You see where I'm pointing at. And life does not stop outside the clinic. Okay, you have a life outside of the clinic. You don't have patient. You have the EMI and the salaries keep coming every month. Okay, He might be married, he has a parent depending on him, maybe there are children, maybe there are other household expenses which have he have to pay for. Okay, so now dentist is not only thinking about treating patient, he is thinking about the EMI, he is thinking about whether the month collection will be enough or not, he is thinking about the next month expense. And when the clinic is not generating enough money, the natural reaction is often give it more time. Come early, leave late, take more patient, do more procedure, spend more time trying to bring patients in. You see, you are going to work twice as hard. Like, let's imagine a corporate guy. A corporate guy, after finishing his degree, if he gets a job, that is, he will work max to max 8 to 10 hours. Okay, that I'm taking the maximum in India. Now, if you have to build your own clinic and you are thinking that, yeah, it's a business, I'm my own boss and I build my clinic, bro, like you are spending your whole day, not even day, it could even be like you come at your clinic at 6 a.m., you leave at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., depending on the need of the clinic. Okay, so you are just spending your life that way, and that is very stressful for you, anyone who has taken a loan and have a family to manage. Okay, so it's a stressful. The pressure does not automatically mean someone will develop a mental health disorder. Yeah, that is correct. But it can make an already demanding platform much harder to deal with. See, like the dentistry is kind of demanding, and the stress will cause it to become more demanding. So that will eventually build up stress and pressure over time, not instantly. Okay. So we are going to now talk about research and studies. We are not just giving vague information. A study of 116 dentists in Bangalore found high burnout in approx 50% of them of the sample, and long working hour associated with emotional exhaustion. So that is the study. Another separate of a study of newly graduated dentists in India also reported burnout, anxiety, and depression just after graduation. You see where I'm pointing at. These are not national failure rates. They are studies of particular groups. Yeah, they are. You can be, obviously you can take loan of 1 crore and you can still be enjoying your life. You don't give a damn about anything. Or I don't know how many of you are like that. So yeah, I don't. Now, if a dentist has a large fixed monthly payment and too few payments, the natural response can be to work longer and worry more and delay decision that might actually improve the practice. That is the basic human response. A clinic can become a job where the owner is both a dentist, the person carrying all the financial risks. That is why debt should be treated as a business decision, not just a way to buy equipment. Okay, you see, okay, doing your passion, if you are doing dentistry for your passion and you think that I should, after graduation, if I don't have a family wealth or a family hereditary clinic, I should take a loan and open my own clinic. You need to consider that aside from your passion, the world does not work like that. You need to think about your financial decisions. You need to think about the responsibilities you have, and such the overall field is very toxic. You actually need to consider many things before you to take any loan, because it will at the end you will be burned out so much from the pressure and the work that you will start hating it. So I don't want, if you are passionate about it, to hate it. So let now for the part that is easy to miss. Okay, if urban are crowded with dentists while the rural areas have fewer, the answer is not to say that every rural clinic will automatically be succeed. That would be another bad conclusion. Rural India has real barriers. Okay, it has income barrier, it has traveling barriers, it has mindset, transport, and limited access to care. Okay, but health need is real. Now here comes the thing. Like, people nowadays treat dentistry as a beauty, as aesthetics, rather than as a primary health care. You see, that is why the concentration of dentists are much more higher in urban areas compared to rural India. You see, like, they want to make money, and rich people care about their looks, how their teeth looks, how their jaw looks, how their face looks. They care about that, and dentists utilize that insecurity and build a business around it. But very few number of dentists actually actually has a passion for treating the dental diseases. Actually, have the passion for seeing patients and curing their problems. So a few of them, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but a few of them, yeah, go to rural India and do their practice there. It might They might be not earning as much as the urban one, but they are no fulfilled by the work they are doing. They think they are following their passion, and they have studied for the love of dentistry, not for the money. Okay, so that is now government oral health guidance report high level of caries and periodontal disease, along with limited access to care in rural areas. You see, a large study of more than 11,000 older adults in central India found that 82% had unmet dental prosthetic needs and 75.7% had never visited a dentist. That is not a small market sitting on paper, it's a large unmade market. Now, this opportunity, if dentists choose to work there, is not simply to advertise cosmetic dentistry. You see, the point I said that dentistry is not just about cosmetics, it's about oral health, it's about treating patients, it's about studying about diseases. If we just limit it to the aesthetics and oral health, it will like become a saloon. No. So don't make it that. The opportunity is to make people understand that oral health is a part of health. If anyone develops a periodontal disease, they might not get it checked by a dentist in rural India. It might start to get worse, and it might even lead to developing the person oral cancer. So that can be very dangerous. So we need to spread awareness in rural areas. Okay, in urban areas, people already have enough awareness about the cancer part and the dentistry part. They do actually visit dentist, not every month, but they quite often visit dentists. But in rural Indias, people don't treat like their teeth as a systemic organ, so they don't care if their teeth is damaged. They don't care if they have to be pain. They will just eat clove, put clove oil, and wait for it to get away. Okay, so we actually need to uh, spread the awareness in rural areas. Okay. Now, the tooth pain, infection, missing teeth, and difficulty chewing, periodontal disease, oral cancer screening, these are health issues, not only cosmetic problem. And public health policy already treats oral health as a part of primary health care. The National Oral Health Program and Health and Wellness Center guidance were created partially to expand basic oral beyond large urban territory centers. You see, the government is already trying to expand the domain outside of the urban areas. The government is not the government. If you see in this case, the government actually wants that the dentistry should be treated as a medical branch rather than just cosmetics. You see, Dr. Parting, cosmetics is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that if everyone goes into cosmetics, they forget the basic thing that you are going to you have been taught in your dental colleges about diseases, about pharmacology, how you are going to cure it, about various type of diseases. Now everyone is going into cosmetic dentistry and practicing that. So that is not really optimal. Okay, so now uh, rural opportunity is real, but it needs a model that fits the area. Okay, there is one more part of the story. Okay, the education system has expanded. The National Dental Commission currently lists about 28,000 permitted BDS seats and about 7,500 MDS seats. That means the path from VDS to specialization is not same at every stage. You see, okay, wait. And the number of registered dentists has grown to about 4 lakh. Currently, there are 4 lakh registered dentists in India. There is another part of the story that is very interesting and we cannot ignore that. Okay, India has a large private medical college chain and the quality of education is not the same everywhere. You see, degree can be given, but the clinical experience, the teaching, the actual training the student is are getting, that can vary greatly from one college to another. Okay, and for many family, the word doctor carries enormous value that they are ready to pay any amount of money to just get their children the doctor title. You see where I'm pointing at. They don't care about the what type of education the child is getting. They don't care about the clinical practice. They don't care about the teaching. At the end of the degree, the child might still not knowing about the erythromycin, how it works, but the parents will be so happy that their child have gotten a doctor degree and will Dr. X, Dr. Y. So that is very, very like taboo in our society. We need to fix that somehow. But here is the thing: parents spend years of saving, take loan, and make huge sacrifices because they believe that the degree will secure their child's future. But a degree is only the beginning. If the education does not give a student enough real clinic exposure, confidence, and practical skill, the student can leave college with the qualification but still have a lot to learn. The gap is huge, guys. The gap between the real knowledge and the gap between just getting degree. And another thing is that if you have to ask someone who just graduated their videos, you ask if I open a clinic, where will my patient come from? Like, why is someone going to trust you? Who are you? How are you going to make a strategy to promote your clinic? How are you going to do the marketing? How are you going to do the SEO and all of that stuff? That is not taught in your college, right? So yeah. Okay, so now if you're opening a clinic, look at these five things. First, location. Do not choose a place only because the rent is cheap or because it's famous market. Look at the population, nearby dentist, travel distance, local income, treatment demand and access to care. All of these things matter a lot. You need a good place, and a good place does not mean that there are less dentists around and the rent is cheap. It means all of these things and you need to consider every one of them. Second, the real budget. Do not calculate only the chair and the interior. Add your deposit, staff, material, rent, equipment, maintenance, taxes, and enough money to survive the early few months. Okay, you see, I've already told you that the burnout is going to be quite exhausting, so you might as well prepare for it also. Third, the debt. Before taking a loan, calculate the EMI in the worst reasonable month, not the best month. Ask what happen if patient number is still low for 6 months. Will you be able to handle the EMI for that long? Now, fourth is your own health. Do not build a clinic that require you to work every hour of the day just to keep the EMI alive. You see where I'm pointing at. Long working hours are actually linked with emotional exhaustion in dental practice. Do not try to be everything yourself. You should just accept that you cannot be everything. You cannot, if you are doing the clinical practice, you cannot doing the cleaning of the clinic. You should do hiring. That is going to put a leverage on your clinic itself, and it will be quite helpful for you also, reducing the burden. Fifth, do not try to be everything yourself. If you are a dentist, decide who handle calls, appointment, account, supply and basic management. The clinical work is already demanding. And then there is one last question. How will patient find you? A good clinic that nobody find has a problem. Make the clinic easy to locate. Keep the basic information clear. Build a real reputation. Make it easy to call or book so that what you actually treat and give people reason to trust you. Okay. It's not about everyone becoming an influencer. It's about utilizing a system, utilizing a way to handle the workload efficiently. Okay, so you can actually work on what is most important for you rather than spending time on things which can be handled by someone else, and it can give you ROI of 10 to 15% per month. That will be great for your business. Or I started this research with a question about how many dentists in India produce. The number are important, but the bigger story is not the number or degree. It is what happens after the degree. Okay. India has a large dental workforce, but the workforce is unevenly distributed. You have already saw that the urban and rural, the difference is very high. The real unmet need for oral healthcare, especially in areas with limited access. At the same time, suburban market have many dentists competing for the same amount of patient. So opening a dental clinic is not only a clinical decision, it is a location decision, it is a financial decision, it is a workview decision. And it is unavoidably a business decision. The degree gives you the right to treat the patient. It does not guarantee that the patient will walk through the door. You see, that path has to be built. And for that, you need to actually accept that you cannot do everything in a clinic yourself. You need to hire staff, you need to hire team to handle everything for you, okay? So that you can work on what is important for you.